From the News Channel 5 network and Out and About Nashville, this is Out and About Today, sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Hello, I'm Chuck Long, and glad you're joining us on Out and About Today as we continue to celebrate our 16th season kickoff with a series of special shows. Brent and Pam will be bringing you some special shows in the coming weeks, so we look forward to those as well. Tonight, it's Music and the LGBTQ Community Part 2, featuring special guests from Nashville in Harmony, Don Schlosser and Wesley King, and Music City favorite, Steph Mahan. Up first, Don Schlosser, who is retiring after 16 years as the artistic director with Nashville in Harmony. Under Don's leadership, Nashville in Harmony has become one of the country's top choral groups. We're going to visit with Don about his successes, his challenges, and his legacy, as well as meeting the man who he'll be handing the baton off to, Wesley King. Here's a look at Nashville in Harmony in action. Yes, Don Schlosser leading Nashville in Harmony. That was a recent concert. Don Schlosser, good to see you. How are you?
Doing great. Just like all of us are, we're surviving. We're trying to stay healthy and enjoying the summer the best we can.
Absolutely. And I tell you, we're glad that we found that particular clip, because that actually featured you turning around and singing to the audience. Normally we see your back through the whole show.
Yeah, that's one time. That's become such a standard for us that we know that most of our patrons know it, and we love to have them singing along. It's not just about performing, but it's about building the community. So having them sing with us creates that sense.
It really just terrific, and I love that clip. Of course, that song is classic. And Don, we were counting up. I think actually the first story I did on Out and About Today was with you. We went out to the church and we actually shot you and some footage there, and we did a remote shoot with you while you guys were rehearsing, and that was, I think, 13 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You've been great partners with us through all of this process, and we really appreciate the exposure that you've given to us and the support you've given to us through the years. So we really appreciate it.
Well, we just love it every time that you're on. And so now after 16 years, you are getting ready to retire. So kind of tell me first off, how does that feel?
Well, it actually feels really positive because I'm not looking at this moment feeling like there's a loss or a death or mourning. I can honestly look back over the last 16 years and feel such a sense of accomplishment and pride and joy in what we've been able to do. So that really is encouraging. So it feels good to do that. And then especially during this season when things are so transient and the group really has to learn how to pivot in a new direction in order to continue to accomplish the mission. It seems like a really good time for an old man to step aside and let new blood come in and figure out how to do that.
Well, I tell you what, looking back, I mean, when you started Nashville in Harmony, people always say, did you have any idea it would grow into the success, that it became? But did you have a vision for what you wanted it to become?
We certainly had a vision because we knew there were other groups like ours. And so we had seen groups in other parts of the country that had been able to pull people together, to be able to sing together, to be able to promote issues, to be able to stand for justice issues. And so we had that as a vision, and we knew that's the direction that we wanted to go in. We just didn't know exactly necessarily every step of the way how to get there. And you know as well as I do that it just took off like crazy. And in the early years of our work together, we grew at a rate that was almost unmanageable because it filled such a need for people who wanted to sing, who wanted to create community, who wanted to feel like as they were doing something to help their community and making a change. So it really has been. And then that kind of energy has been what has sustained us through the last 16 years.
Tell me about, you've had so many, and I know we did an hour-long show just to highlight them all, but tell me about some of the highlights over these 16 years for you.
One would have to be the trip that we made down to Birmingham to the Civil Rights Museum to be able to connect the work that we were doing with the civil rights history. That was an amazing opportunity for us to be able to sing in the church where the bombing took place, for us to sing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, in that space. I will never forget that moment. Having the opportunity to sing at Skirmerhorn, that amazing room, and to be able to be on that stage and to sing, that was significant. And then to be able to create some of the music that we've created, some of the things that we have commissioned to celebrate our 10th anniversary, and then to work with Intersection Orchestra, Contemporary Ensemble, and some gifted young composers to be able to create things that will have a life of their own to continue to change the world that we live in long after we're done.
You guys have done such amazing work, and it's just, like I said, it's become one of the top choral groups in the entire country. I just have to mention, because I've been fortunate enough to host a couple of the shows with you, and you know, and I'll never forget, I got to host the one that was at the Ryman, and I mean, that was a Christmas show or a holiday show, and it was just phenomenal. I was like, wow, we're here on the Ryman stage. You guys put on just a show that was second to none, and it was like, every year I was like, my gosh, you have to keep, you know, putting on the Ritz every time. Did that pressure, like, did it ever become a little overwhelming?
The pressure was always overwhelming. You know, you talk about that performance that we did at the Ryman. Every time we did a holiday show, people would come up afterwards and say, man, that was the best show. What are you going to do next year? And my first thought was, I have no idea what we're going to do next year. But the brilliance was that I had such great leadership. It wasn't just me trying to figure out what to do, and it wasn't just you know, a solo act here. We're talking about some great leadership that I've had through the years, not only in the maintenance of the group and the governance of the group, but also helping to figure out some creative kinds of processes as we went along, and lots of people bringing energy to the table. And that has also been one of the hallmarks of Nashville in Harmony from the very beginning. That first year that we were together, there was a sense of, I could do this, I'll do the programs, you can use this that I have, you can use this, you know, and people just kind of brought things together and brought their own gifts and talents. And then as we continued to grow, that was still the energy that pervaded the group. People wanted to be a part of it, to contribute to it.
And contribute they did. So, Don, you're going to stick around, I hope?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we will introduce you to the man who will be taking over the role of artistic director. You're watching Out and About Today. We'll be right back.